Welcome to Daily Papers, the podcast where we break down the latest research into bite-sized, easy-to-digest pieces.
Today we're talking about something I think almost everyone has experienced, a slightly frustrating conversation with an AI chatbot. You ask it to do something and it just doesn't quite get it.
Exactly. You ask it, hey, can you help me plan a trip? And it gives you this super generic, useless itinerary. You were thinking of a backpacking trip through mountains, but it gives you a luxury tour of city museums.
The problem is that the AI is a passive listener. It waits for you to give it perfectly detailed instructions. But we humans, we're not like that. We use what this paper calls lazy prompts. We start a conversation with a vague idea and expect our partner to help us flush it out.
And that's the whole point of this new paper from researchers at USC, Microsoft, and UC Davis. It's titled, Teaching Language Models to Gather Information Proactively. They want to change AI from a passive tool into a proactive, collaborative partner.
So instead of the AI just sitting there waiting for you to spell everything out, it would actually ask you smart, clarifying questions to figure out what you really want.
Right. The paper calls the core problem information asymmetry. It's a fancy term for a simple idea. You have a bunch of crucial details in your head, your budget, your preferences, the context, but the AI doesn't. And current AIs are pretty bad at asking for that hidden information.
They either make a wild guess and give you a bad answer, or they ask a very narrow question like, did you want me to write one paragraph or two? Which isn't that helpful for getting to the big picture.
So how do you teach an AI to be a better conversationalist? You can't just tell it, be more proactive. The researchers had to get creative. They designed a special training system.
First, they needed a lot of examples of complex tasks. So they used a dataset called Dolomites, which is full of real-world writing tasks from professionals in fields like law, medicine, and engineering. These are things like develop a protocol for a toxicity assay.
Now, here's the clever part. They took these detailed tasks and they played a game of hide and seek with the AI. They showed the AI the basic goal, the explicit information, like write a plan for teaching math to second graders.
But they hid all the crucial details, the implicit information. Things like the student's current skill level, the required curriculum points, and the specific types of activities the teacher wants. This hidden information is what a real person would have in their head, but might not type out in their first prompt.
Exactly. Then they set up a second AI to act as a user oracle. This oracle knows all the hidden secrets. The first AI, the one being trained, has to ask the oracle smart questions to uncover the hidden information it needs to complete the task properly.
It's like turning the training process into a detective game. The AI has to learn to be a good investigator, probing for clues. But how do you teach it what a good question is?
This is the secret sauce of the paper, a training technique called reinforcement learning. It's a bit like training a puppy. You don't just show the puppy what to do, you let it try things, and when it does something you like, say it sits, you give it a treat. That's the reinforcement.
So what's the treat for the AI in this case?
The treat, or the reward as they call it, is given whenever the AI asks a question that successfully uncovers a piece of the hidden information. If it asks a question about something it already knows, no reward. If it asks a generic, unhelpful question, no reward.
So it only gets a point if its question hits gold and reveals a new useful clue from the user oracle. This encourages the AI to stop asking surface-level questions and start digging for the really important unspoken details.
Precisely. And the results were pretty dramatic. They took a model and trained it with this method, which they call reinforcement fine-tuning, or RFT. This new model, Quen 2.5 RFT, blew the others out of the water.
Looking at the charts in the paper, it's not even close. In a writing task, the standard version of a powerful model like GPT-4 might score around 51%. Their trained model scored 65%. It was significantly better at completing the tasks because it was better at gathering the information it needed first.
But the most convincing part for me was the human evaluation. The researchers showed people the questions generated by their proactive AI versus a standard AI and asked, which question is better? Which one is more helpful?
And what did people say?
People preferred the questions from the new proactive model by a margin of 42%. They found the questions more insightful and better for brainstorming. For example, when asked to create a math lesson plan, a standard AI might ask, "What specific topics do you want to cover?"
Which is an okay question, but a bit basic.
Right, but their proactive model asked things like, "How can I create a flexible lesson plan framework that adapts to real-time student engagement and understanding during each class session?"
It's a much deeper, more collaborative question.
That's a huge difference. It feels like it's trying to be a partner in the task, not just a text generator. And because it asked better questions, the final outlines it produced were also preferred by humans by a 28% margin.
What's also fascinating is that another common training method, where you just show it a bunch of good conversations and hope it learns, didn't really work. In some cases, it actually made the model perform worse.
So you can't just show it what to do. You really have to reward the specific skill of being curious and asking good questions.
That seems to be the key. This research is a really exciting step towards changing our relationship with AI. Instead of us having to learn the arcane art of prompt engineering to talk to the machine is finally learning how to talk to us.
It's moving from a simple tool to what the paper calls a genuinely collaborative thought partner, an AI that doesn't just answer questions, but helps you figure out what questions you should be asking in the first place.
And that could make these tools infinitely more useful for everyone, not just the experts.
A fascinating look at the future of AI conversation. That's all for today on Daily Papers.